यहां से जब जाएंगे तो कोई क्लियर करने से कुछ हो जाता है क्या? Okay. So we have amidst us 7 individuals who have realized their dreams. Yeah, of course, they have their larger purpose, they have larger vision, but they have found a vehicle that they will be boarding pretty soon that will take them a little closer to their larger purpose of life and vision. And we have people from very diverse backgrounds. May I have the hands of the panelists at the back? Can you all stand up, please? So that I'm sure that all of us here. Great. Okay, the panelists are all here. I expect you to be very engaging and participative. Yeah. Hope. How many of you have given your questions on the piece of paper? Okay. Fine. And apart from these 7, there are at least 20 other IIM alumni who are here towards the end of the interaction. You will get to know who are all IIM alumni who are here. So after the session, if you have any individual questions to ask, you may ask these 20 plus 7, 8, around 30 of us. Yeah. The purpose is only one. The purpose is to enable each one of you to realize your larger purpose and mission in life. Of course, in the process, we all will go through the portals of various dream institutions. Clear? Okay. I'm going to invite each one of you, the panelists, be ready. Yes. Akash Shah, please come. Give Akash a big hand. खड़े रहिए 2 minutes. Friends, I asked Akash this evening when he came, how are your parents feeling? So Akash responded that my parents may not know and do not know even the gravity of what I have achieved. Why is it so? Akash's father came here
as a migrant labor in 1989. So this is something which from where he started from zero. And both of my parents are uneducated, so you can say illiterate kind of.
So Akash's parents moved to Delhi working as migrant laborers. Today, he has a small setup, he has emerged from there, but first member from his family to go beyond class 10, class 12, St. Stephen's, and now an IIM. Friends, Akash does deserve a big hand. Tarannum, may I invite you. Kindly give a big hand to Tarannum. This dynamic of a lady, a creative one, yeah, and she's a fresher. Tarannum, where do you come from, little Elena?
Okay, so I'm a fashion technology graduate from NIST New Delhi, and I currently live in Ghaziabad, and both of my parents are engineers, so I was forced to be an engineer, but I chose to go down the fashion path.
Thank you. So Taranum, a budding fashion technologist, fresher. Your exams are over, Taranum? Just got over. Okay. And Taranum is going to XLRI. Yeah, Taranum is going to XLRI. Yeah. Sanjay. Sanjay, can I have you? Lot of people, I keep hearing repeatedly, lot of people believe IIM Ahmedabad takes freshers or relatively young. Here, Sanjay has got 5 years of experience. People used to laugh at people with experience, saying that तुमको तो IIM Ahmedabad दाना भी नहीं डालेगा और IIM Ahmedabad पहुंच रहे हैं संजय. Yeah, come here. So we have an excellent set of people here today on the panel, and they come from wide variety of profiles. We picked up people from wide varieties of profiles so that they will vibrate with you. So you can see their profiles there. Pooja, may I request you to come on stage? Yeah, one more. It's pleasure to have a good representation of the significant part of humanity. MDI. Pooja is heading to MDI, so we'll hear a lot from you. Pooja, are you also a fresher? Pooja is also a fresher. Yes. How many freshers here? Is there anyone with 3 years plus work experience? अच्छा बहुत कम है. Okay. Okay. May I now next invite Rohit. Rohit is another individual with almost 5 years of experience, 4 years of experience. One amongst, Rohit. Quickly, Beto. See, that's precisely the reason. Rohit is heading to IIM Ahmedabad. Another IIM Ahmedabad conqueror here with 4+ years of experience. Pleasure having you there. Sukriti, where are you? Sukriti has a background in BMS, College of Business Studies, Delhi, with about 2 years of experience. Yeah, with Ernst & Young. Pleasure having you, Sukriti. Good. Last but not least, Suraj Prakash. Suraj has a profile that is very, very, very inspiring. Pleasure having you, Suraj. Suraj was with Indian Army. And during their, because you all know Army and all, how they keep you fit. So Suraj himself will add a couple of sentences about it. What made you stand here today?
Okay, so it was just in 2019. During a training activity, I got injured, and the injury was so severe that I had to retire from army. So now, when we are kids, we always dream of somehow goal and aim. So when I got into army, and I was like, okay, now done. I'll grow in this field only. But then suddenly something happened, and I was like, with no goal, no aim, nothing, a retired personnel. So I decided I can't sit like this. I should think for something. Now I just went through my profile and all. I have done already one post-graduation diploma in military studies and defense management during army. So I think MBA will be the best choice for me. And after that, again, the thing was like, where should I train myself for this? Because I had a very different thing. I have last which I studied was is in year 2015. After that, I have not studied anything. So I need a place where someone can mentor me on a personal level. There I choose CL through a lot of I researched and then I found this place and then I'm here. I converted IIM Kozhikode and some more IIMs and now I'll be heading to a new journey of my life. Thank you.
Imagine somebody with in defense forces and dreaming of being there, and one fine day he had no choice but to leave because he was injured and army asked him to, army forced him to retire. So that's where Suraj's journey starts. Okay, friends, I'm going to pass on the mic to each one. Yeah, take 2 to 3 minutes to talk about. I would like each one of you to talk about your journey in short, and what is the greatest challenge that you overcame in the whole process. So each one of you prepared for a year, a couple of us for a year, a couple of us for 2, 3 years, a couple of us 4, 5 years, and each one is a great story in itself. And in fact, I responded to a couple of you saying that a 70 movie to ban sakti hai. Yeah, because I asked them, because yesterday I got to know about the profiles, I asked them to, I keep writing, how many of you follow GP Kapanda? Only one website you got to follow, if at all you dream of making to IIMs is gpkapanda.in. लिख लो gpkapanda.in, and इसमें ऐसे ऐसी कहानियां हैं. Okay, there are people who woke up on the last day of filling the form. They filled the form in 2 months flat. They prepared for CAT and got into IIMs. And how they made that magic in 2 months and 3 months. There are innumerable number of stories. This morning, I have blogged each one of their story there on GP Kapanda, and every day one story is going up. Okay, kindly be there. If you have not, how many of you have heard about it? gpkapanda.in. Few of you heard. So there is a challenge on our part to enable people be aware. Okay. Now that you started, I will give it to you because the shortest time you will take to talk about your journey. Okay? Yeah. If you're comfortable going around, that also you can do.
Okay, to be very frank, I started my preparation in August 2021. Now, most of people feel it August. Why August? Because I had to go through some surgeries in Feb. March, I was in Delhi only. I was on bed ridden. In August, I started my preparation. Now, when you start preparation so late, it's quite obvious you cannot complete the whole syllabus. So, what I had to do is to do a smart study. I have to study what are the things which are most probable. And there is a place like our mentors are only who are going to help us in this. So it is never late to start our preparation. Because I thought I'll just give this CAT this year like this only, and next year I'll do it with full effort. Most of us will think when the CAT exam will be near. But mark my words, just give your best this time only. So I just gave my CAT. It was like I just cleared almost all the cutoffs of all the IIMs. Now the biggest challenge was interview. because the last interview which I gave was in year 2015. After that, no interviews, nothing. So I was like, I just met to my mentor. He told me, okay, fine, you do one thing, start your preparation. It might happen that you will start getting interest in this also. So I started preparation. I used to just fill the forms of all these private colleges like this only, just to give the interview. I had a percentile. I just used to apply for them and I used to give the interview. Before cap round interview and all these IIMs interview, I had given around 20 interviews of odd B schools. And all that B schools I converted. And that thing gave me so much of confidence. Yeah, I can crack this only. So when you start believing in yourself, like, okay, I'll clear this, then you can do that. So just after that, I gave all the exams, all the interviews, and I cleared them. Thank you.
Imagine an individual who moves out of army and applies on one of the last dates, starts his preparation in the month of August, and with his great determination, purposefulness, cracks the exam. Yeah, as he said, he cleared the cutoffs and he did get the calls. Yeah, may I now request Pooja to share her journey.
Hello, good evening, all of you. So actually, I graduated last year. So not only am I a fresher, I also took a drop year, which obviously was very challenging. But I decided that if I have to give my 100% to CAT 2021, I should take this step. So I graduated in May and I started my preparation back then only. Being from a commerce background, my last encounter with maths was in grade 12. So I started with the very basics of mathematics to make sure I have absolutely crystal clear concepts. And also the biggest fear that sir talked about, I think that was my finance background. I'd in fact done my chartered accountancy intermediate with college. So during every interview, this popped up as to why I'm leaving something midway, which never reflected in a good manner, but I had to explain in a very crystal clear manner that I come from a finance background. I know the importance of finance. I know it's basically the bedrock for successful management, and that is how I probably cleared that obstacle.
Thank you.
So you have a fresher. How many of us are from BCom background? Commerce? Okay. May I now invite Sanjay to share your greatest challenge, Sanjay.
So, starting with CAT only. So I have a history with CAT. Now, why I say this? People usually give CAT 2 times, 3 times. I gave CAT 5 times. So I'm not giving the impression that it takes 5 attempts to get into IIM Ahmedabad. It is just that you need one single attempt in which you are dedicated enough to, give your 100% efforts. And I think that worked for me. And along with CAT as well, there were a lot of things happening in my life in terms of changing my job or improving myself. But it took only one serious attempt and dedication for throughout the year, be it through CAT or the interviews that were there. I gave my 100% last year, and that is why I feel this year it has rewarded me, and I'm finally going to Ahmedabad.
That's so what he said is very clear. जिस साल आप पूरा जान दे दोगे, उस साल आप घर खाली नहीं जाओगे वापस. Lot of us think IIMs, cracking a CAT and getting into IIM is very, very difficult. It is not so. And everybody sitting on the table here, most of them, even in the last mock, just before CAT, they all scored 46 percentile and 50 percentile. CAT का एक हफ्ते पहले तक ऐसा मतलब there are many mocks where they scored 90s, but imagine a person scoring a 45 percentile 1 week before mock. But they all told themselves, I have worked hard and I'm going to give my best. I'm not going to think of the results. Let me give my best. And they're all sitting here in front of you. May I invite you to share some thoughts.
So my journey with CAT, I can now look back at it very fondly. The challenges, I think They were twofold. One was before writing the exam. I was very, very weak in LRDI and quant, and that's 2/3 of your paper that I was not comfortable with. So something that sir said, I still remember about, I think, 5 weeks before the exam. One of the mocks I wrote, I got 3 marks in LRDI, and that was also on a guesswork that I did. I couldn't solve a single thing. So that was a very big challenge for me, and I think the only thing that helped is practicing a lot. Writing every mock, and then I do remember I did the questions again and again in the same mocks that I've written. I've not written a lot of mocks, but whatever I wrote, I did them well. And the second part came after the exam, and that was in the interview phase. I had almost 2 years of gap at that point. And that was very challenging. That was very nerve-wracking, actually, to go in interviews with such a big gap. And what helped me was to be very clear as to why I took the decision of leaving my job, what I did in that time, and how it impacted me. So that confidence of my own decisions, owing up to my decisions, that helped me sail through the interviews.
Thank you. How many of us here with gap years? अक्सर काफी लोगों को कॉल आ जाता है, फिर टेंशन में रहते हैं कि 2 साल मेरा गैप है, मैं क्या कहानी सुनाऊंगा, and so on and so forth. Okay, and there are many. I have had many mentees this year. A few of them prepared for civil services. Is anybody civil services prepared kiya hua? Yeah. There are few who have prepared civil services for 3-4 times, did not get it, did not make it. But this year, the gentleman is going to IIM Ahmedabad. Okay. So we keep wondering, how do I justify my gap? How do I show my face? How do I tell them that I failed in civil services and I have come here? So these are thoughts. As human beings, we go through a lot of emotions. How do I, kaun si kahani sunao? Koi kahani sunane ki. If you're purposeful and passionate and you have a vision for yourself, what you wish to do after MBA, and if you thought through, then you will have a seat at IIMs too. May I request Rohit to share your thoughts?
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Good evening, all. My journey with CAT, this was my second attempt at CAT. The most important challenge that I faced was that Sanjay, my fellow batchmate, he said that you require 1 attempt with all your determination, all your grit. But sometimes what happens on the test day, you screw up for some reason or the other. So what is difficult is getting back up again, leaving everything behind, leaving your failures behind and rising up from your failures again. That takes a lot of grit and determination, because you know that you have studied everything, you know that you are capable of being there, but still for some reason you're not. So you have to do everything again. And this is a part where the team at Career Launcher, our mentors, Raju Khare sir, Smita ma'am, they helped me a lot. And yes, the second attempt, I did score well, and in the interview process as well, it was a journey to reflect how I had come here. Most people would say that I have a good profile, IIT Roorkee. I got into IIT Roorkee, then I had a thought that I'll have 2 years of work experience, and then I go in there. But life sometimes have different plans. All I would like to tell you is that even if life puts you down, you get back up with all your might and fight back. Thank you.
Rohit has a long history with SIA. Rohit? Yes. Rohit, 10 years ago, prepared for IIT JEE with SIA, isn't it, Rohit? Then went on to IIT Roorkee, then now with SIA at for CAT, and now Ahmedabad. Please come. This is a creative young lady who will talk about her own challenge of being a creative person and how you ended in business school.
Yes, sure. So, like I said, then I'm a fresher. So my CAT journey began in November 2020. And 1 year into the self-preparation, I realized that quant is going to be my Achilles heel forever. So that's when I actually decided to join Career Launcher. And I think the first session that I had was with one of my mentors, Mr. Ramanuj. And that's when he told me that, I'm going to make sure that QA will not be a weak point. So then my journey started, and I think I faced challenges at all stages. So, like one of my panelists mentioned that it's a twofold challenge stage, right? So for me, I think first challenge was, of course, conquering QA. Then afterwards, when the CAT day came, before that, like Sir mentioned, I was the person who scored a 45 percentile 1 week before the actual exam. So after that, I think this was the biggest challenge to, get over from it and, face the fact that I have to give the exam anyways. So I went into the center that day, gave the exam, came out, knowing that, yes, I had definitely done better than the 45 percentile I had scored. So after that, I got calls from a few places, and then I had done pretty well in that. So I got a call from Accelerate, and it was one of my best calls. So I knew I had to convert this for sure. So this was my next challenge, to convert my best call. And not a lot of people put stress upon this, but interview preparation requires the exact same amount of time that you require for a ZAT or a CAT preparation. So I think that's very important and the biggest takeaway I had from my Pledge journey. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. How many of you have challenge with quant? हाथ तो उठाए भाई, हर चीज के लिए बगल वाला बोला हाथ उठा. Oh, and how many of us have challenge with VARC? ये सारे इंजीनियर्स ही होंगे. Okay, let me now invite Akash to share something more about his journey.
Hello guys, thanks for giving me this opportunity. So basically, I was doing a well job, and quitting job was it's like taking a risk for myself, for my family, and all. So people used to tell me like, don't quit your job. You can do it with your this time you can do it with your job, and then you again do this with in the next year because I have only 3 months. But I decided I have to quit my job. I started in September itself after filling the form, and then I had nothing to do. So what I was doing, I devote my whole time to the CAT prep. I skewed many mocks. So guys, it's a mantra. If you want to rock, you have to give a lot of mock. Okay, so this is something you have to do. So in mocks, you feel like someday you feel it's kind of devastated you. So you scored. I personally scored in negatives. So sir says 3. I scored negative many a times. Like when I started, because I was very new to this exam. Although I cleared JE, but still I don't know how to crack it. So this is something which I felt during my days of prep. But you have to keep in your mind, like you have to be consistent. You have to you have to be dedicated. You have to be like truthful to yourself. Like whatever you are doing is actually useful or not. If you are studying, you have to be a truthful for yourself. So this is something I would like to share. And as sir already told you, like I also scored around 38 or 40 percentile before 2 days of my CAT exam. And then I talked to one of my friend who is already in IIM Calcutta. So he told me, bro, it's enough. You did enough. You just go and chill. And the day I gave my CAT, I was like relaxed. I was quite relaxed. Like, dude, I did it. Okay, then come to my interview prep, because you know like what my background is. So this is very new to me. So I was quite confused. What should I do? I talked to multiple people. I talked to, you can say, each of my friends, even though they had nothing to do with CAT. So they told me like, bro, you can do it. Just keep faith on you. So this is something I would like to say. Just keep faith on you, even if you are like giving your 100% or you are giving 50% right now, but it's enough for today. Okay, you have to prep harder. Day by day, you can increase your study time, or you can say efficiency, because it's not like the next day you are scoring 100 percentile. So this is not something. So this is this is the word which I would like to share. That's all from my side. Thank you.
When I went through Akash's story, not only his pedigree in terms of where he came from struck me, but also he shares there, here to नौकरी क्यों छोड़ रहा है? Your family needs your job. Why are you leaving it? 3 महीने में करेगा क्या तू? Lot of stories, he has lot of statements that he wrote there, and he said nothing doing. I have a purpose. I want to head there. I'm quitting. And imagine somebody coming from such a background, taking that responsibility and having a purpose and making it happen. Friends, each one of you sitting here is made of same stuff, sweat, blood, and emotions. How you manage your emotions, rest of the two, you cannot. The only thing you can manage is your emotions. How do you manage your emotions? That's what is going to make that difference. So what we will do, we have quite a few questions that are poured in. Yeah. So we will take up those questions. Those questions are going to come on screen. The questions were taken in through the website. Questions were taken from here. And this session is going live on YouTube. And the questions are coming from YouTube too. So from time to time, they are punching in the questions on the PPT. And इंसान जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि sweat, blood, and emotions. So I'm sure any question that comes up there, there will be 30, 40 people who will have the same question. Am I making sense? Okay. So we will try. We have tried to get lots of questions, classify those questions, because इतने सारे questions आएंगे तो चंद questions तो एक समान होंगे. Okay. So we have put all those questions and they are going to come up there. So I am going to ask this question to 1 or 2 relevant people on the podium for them to answer. And in the end, after if we exhaust these questions here, if there are questions, because जब questions पे questions आती हैं तो और भी questions उभरती हैं यहाँ से, ठीक है? तो अगर ऐसा कोई questions हैं, तो there are people out there. If you still have questions, is there anyone who can wave the sheet of paper? If you have any question, kindly direct Deepak. Can somebody have a couple of few sheets there? अगर आपके पास questions हैं, तो उनसे पूछ के वहां लिख के उनको पकड़ा दीजिएगा कि वो फिर channelize होके आ जाए, ठीक है? So that we will reduce the chaos. Okay. They all submitted. There may be a few more that may come up as we proceed. Okay. Now, can we have the first question on the screen? How many months are sufficient to crack the CAT? Here there are at least 2 people who said they started only in September, October. है ना? मैं उनके पास जाता हूं, अगर जो 2 महीने में 3 महीने में क्रैक करने वाले हो, तो 7 महीने तो क्रैक हो ही जाएगा. ठीक है? हाँ, सूरज, आपका कौन से? So I would like to ask, which sections were of great challenge to you, and how did you go about in clearing CAT in those 2-3 months?
The biggest challenge for me was VARC, because the language we use in army is quite different, and VARC has different demand. So when I started in August, I was like, quant was good, and obviously I couldn't cover the whole syllabus. So I had my some chapters. Okay, I have to cover this much, and इसमें से कोई question आएगा तो गलत नहीं करना. So my aim was this. All must have been aware that 8-8 strategy, 5-5 strategy, all that. So I was also following the same. So when for me, I think it depends upon person to person. What is your caliber? Like if a person we think that is very weak, he need more months to cover that thing. If a person who is good, he need to just give mocks and practice more. So there's no appropriate answer for this. How many months? It's up to you. what is your weak section and how much time you can devote to it. If someone is sitting and has nothing to do, he can devote 10 hours. For someone who is working, he can hardly get 3 to 4 hours. For him, the time will be more. For someone who is sitting just preparing for a CAT, for him, the time can be less. And again, just give your mocks and do the analysis of your mocks, because that is the most important thing. Most of us, what we do is just give the mock and we talk a lot about our percentile than about the questions, what we have done wrong. So just, I will suggest we go for more analysis of your question. And so that's.
Akash, would like to add anything more to it? Okay, can we have the next question? How many are working professionals here? Not many, but in real CAT, there will be 40 to 50% of them working professionals there. So all those people who do not have work ex, you have got to fight it out with working professionals. Okay, working professionals, would you like to respond, Sanjay?
So actually, I have been in both the boards. So I prepared while I was working, and last year I quit my job. So I think with work as well or without work as well, you can prepare both ways. It's just that the amount of hours you need to devote, be it through work or without work, I think that is important. So what I would say is that, like, I gave a CAT while working only, and I was able to devote 1 to 2 hours every day. But it's just that that wasn't my day at that CAT. So I decided next year to again give it. And like last attempt that I gave last year, I quit my job in July, and my job was also hectic. Like there were around 15-16 hours working hours every day. So that is something that I decided that I need to stop that right now, because my dreams were bigger than that. And that is why last year I left my job in July, and then starting August, I gave everything basically to CAT. All the hours that I had that were going on CAT and other management exam preparation. So I would say that you can do both ways. I'm not giving the impression you need to quit your job. There are people who do that with the job as well. There are people who do that after quitting their job. It's your own personal decision, I would say. If it's not working for you, if it's working for you, you can decide accordingly.
Sorry, just इससे related चीज है, because I was going through the question, काफी questions आए हैं, 2 questions आए हैं. One set of questions says, as a person who has work experience, I have a huge disadvantage कि काम भी करना है, and similarly जो work experience नहीं है जिनका, वो सब बोल रहे हैं, at least the questions I read, I have a huge disadvantage because I don't have work experience. What is your opinion on this? Because you have gone through the written exam as well as you have gone through the interview. Okay. Any one of you? Yeah. Mic head.
So, as sir asked that, what is your opinion on whether you have a work experience or not? The difference, I think, lies in that if you do not have a work experience, you have to talk about your graduation and graduation subjects. So they will ask you a lot of questions on topics. They'll ask you what your favorite topic is, and they will start to ask questions on that. If you have a work experience, it helps in the interview process as well, because there are some points for it in making the merit list. Plus also they can ask you more about things you are doing recently. So I think that is a big plus if you do not have an academic gap. Suppose you have completed your graduation and you have academic gap. It might not be possible that you are well versed with the topics in graduation. So I think work experience is definitely helpful. But as Sanjay said, you have to decide whether it works for you, that you can do it while working or not. I have an experience of 46 months and I did my preparation while working. The difference was that my job was a 9 to 5 job, typical white collar job. I could leave my office at 5 o'clock. So I had ample time to prepare during the weekdays as well. But for Sanjay's case, it was not the case. He had to put his job. So I think that is it. Work experience helps, I think, because you can talk about what you have been working on. And plus, you are mature enough to how to work in an organization. You learn that while working.
Just one thing. How many of you don't have work experience? 2. Okay. Now you can see in Idhari, there are people with and without work experience. Actually does not matter. And as he rightly said, if you have work experience in the interview, you will be questioned more on your work. And if you don't have work experience, you'll be interviewed more on the basis of your academics, what you studied in college. पढ़ाई की है कि नहीं वैसे? पढ़ लेना, time है, ठीक है, extremely important.
And also there are people who have had work experience but had a break of 2 years to 1 year on this panel, who kept wondering कि क्या पूछेंगे break के बारे में, लेकिन they all sailed.
Any one of you had a gap year?
Yeah.
कितना? How many years of gap for you?
After work, I had a gap of 2 years.
2 years. 1 year? 2 years?
2 years.
I hope that myth is also broken. But ये मत समझना gap जरूरी है क्योंकि साल का एक होगा नहीं, ठीक है? So I hope that myth की gap year का problem है, कोई problem नहीं है. They will definitely ask you why the gap year. I am sure everyone would have been asked. ठीक है? Can any one of you, why don't you tell us क्या बोला आपने gap year के बारे में?
Sure, sir. So this question will, very likely will come up that why did you take that gap? It's very important that, you do something productive. It does not have to be a 9 to 5 job. It does not have to be a full-time employment, but be involved in something or the other. So in my case, for example, I was doing some academic work with IIM, the university. So I was doing some, course writing work for them. And as well as I'd done some more research, attended some conferences in this time. So those were the things I was able to speak about. But, they're going to ask, but they're not going to be, hold it against you. They really want to understand that why is it that you took that decision? What did you really do? So just make sure you're doing something productive. I think that would be my take from my experience.
Yeah, among the others, anyone who was not doing anything productive? सब कर लेते हैं.
Yes, I took up internships, but not the entire duration.
Yeah, I'll give you an extreme example. This year, one of my students, he prepared for UPSC for 4 years और कुछ नहीं किया. So his productivity was only towards not doing well in UPSC. ठीक है? He's converted Bangalore and he'll be joining IIM Bangalore this year. Unfortunately, he's not from Delhi, so he's not here. But again, just to add to that, they will definitely want to know why, what made you do it. They would want to understand your logic and reason, but as she said rightly, it will not be held against you.
Yeah, I too had one, a couple of them UPSC. One was preparing for UPSC 4 years. In fact, I put that article there on gpkafunda.in. Kindly go and look at it. This gentleman was doing for 4 years preparing for UPSC, but he did a lot of work in the policy area while preparing for UPSC. Okay, and he is going to IIM Ahmedabad. So if your purpose is clear and you've been working, whether full-time or part-time, but if you're working towards your purpose, you will make it. Yeah.
Yeah, only CAT or multiple exams for you? Yes, we are obviously running MDI, so multiple exams of me. And MDI is again CAT actually. Yeah. Non-CAT exams. Yeah, it was XLRE, so obviously that. Now let me just take this question to the next level. Do you think it is worthwhile to take multiple exams, or you should focus only on CAT?
So I think for me, I took NMAT, ZAT and CAT. These were the 3 exams that I gave. And I scheduled my NMAT in a way that it would be before CAT so that I can get a feel of how the exam would be like. What would be the things I would face on the exam day in terms of the center or in terms of various things like probably the clicks of the mouse disturbing you in terms in the time of the exam and stuff like that. So I think it's not a really tough question to whether, we should attempt other exams or not. I think there's no harm in giving other exams. So yeah, it just prepares you well enough for the next exam that you have. So that's my take on it.
Okay. And
I think I like to add something.
Sure, please.
It depends on what position you are in. My last attempt, I only wrote CAT because I had a notion in my mind that I only want to go to ABC. So I did not prepare for other exams as well. But this time I knew that I want to get into a B school, a good B school. So for that, I wrote all CAT, ZAT, NMAT, even GMAT as well for ISB. So it truly depends on what you wish to do when you wish to join the program.
Thank you. how did you manage these multiple interviews and exams? Or was it a huge challenge या फिर दिक्कत नहीं थी? Anyone?
So if you prepare for CAT, you have almost prepared for every of the exams, because the preparation for is not much different. Like for NMAT, I just gave the mocks they provide, and then I went to write the exam. For that, you have to prepare for the decision making section. And GMAT is a different game in the sense that you have to prepare for your verbal a little in a different way. And apart from that, what we prepare for CAT is, applicable to all examinations.
Okay.
I would like to add some more. So like I gave IIFT this year and I qualified it. So in IIFT, you have to prepare for GK. So this is something you have to prepare additionally, but it's kind of, you can say, if you are preparing for CAT, that is enough for you. But coming to the interview part, so I joined Career Launcher, so that's how they helped me a lot to like go to have the current affair knowledge. Apart from this, they also helped me to have the, like in IIFT, they are asking about trades and all. So they provided me the lectures for this especially. And apart from this, they also helped me how to have a mock interview for, especially for IIFT. So this is something which you need to have this. But apart from this, it's the same kind of exam. If you are preparing for CAT, I think that is enough for you. And for IIFT, you just need to have some sort of like extra knowledge for GK. That's it.
I would like to, no, I would like to ask a corollary to this. A lot of us prepare for CAT. Whole 7-8 months goes only for the written exam. And suddenly one fine day you wake up and realize that you've not read anything about current affairs, general knowledge, and suddenly you are burning 48 hours candle in 24 hours. I just want to know, in retrospect, will it help these youngsters if they invest an hour in a day reading newspapers? From now on, 6 months before CAT, if they do this exercise, will it be of some value to them?
I'll take that. So CAT and IIFT, there's a 1 week break, okay, and IIFT has GK section. So you need to keep in mind that while preparing for CAT, you are also preparing for other exams as well. Like you need to have options. So basically, preparing for CAT, you also need to have a GK with you. And preparing for GK, it's not going to help you in the exam only. It's also going to help you in the interviews as well. So it's really important that you start, investing your time in current affairs, and it actually, apart from the exams as well, it actually helps you grow as a person as well, because you get to know a lot of things that are happening outside in the world. So I think it's very important, along with your CAT preparation, you need to have a certain, you need to read a newspaper every day so that you are prepared for all the entrance exams that are there, and also for the subsequent interviews that will come in March.
Anybody else would like to add?
Adding to the point, so reading newspaper is something which definitely help you in VAR selection also. If you are giving a 1 hour a day, that's enough for your VAR section, because it makes you able to have a reading habit. Apart from this, definitely, Sanjay already told you, like it's definitely help you in PI sections, make you confident, like about any like current affairs. So this is something which shows on your face, like something, and you have the answer if they ask about current affairs.
I would like to add here, VARC is the make or mark section for most of you. The highest jump in your scores can happen in VARC, and it cannot happen in LRDA and Quant. So in order to, and you've got to be reading as many varieties of articles as possible for being comfortable. So reading newspapers across the various kind of pages that you have in newspaper, it will make a huge difference for your CAT also. Yeah, next question.
I think we covered this. So, okay, madam. I think this is critical, and maybe each one of you could like exchange this question. क्या दो चीज नहीं करो और क्या दो चीज पक्का करो? Even if it is one each, I'm fine. So we can just go sequentially. Akash, what is that 1 or 2 things that the student should definitely do or definitely not do?
So One thing is you have to be consistent. You don't cheat a day. So like if you are devoting 1 to 2 hours, it's not like a UPSC or JEE exam, which takes your 2 to 4 years. So it's like a simple CAT exam, and that's test your aptitude. So if you are devoting 1 to 2 hours daily, that's enough for you. And the thing you don't have to do is like don't quit your consistency. I would like to say so like if you are scoring low someday, so that's not a big issue because you have a lot of tests to do. So you just have to be a consistent person. That's it. Honestly.
I would just like to add to that consistency point. I think even beyond CAT, you need that consistency because, okay, we have cracked CAT and we've got a call, but it's even more important to convert that call finally. So, keeping up that rigor and keeping up that momentum throughout to all the interviews, all the 13, 14 interviews that you get after you crack the CAT or the ZAT. I think that is very important. And one thing that you should not do is miss too many classes because it gets very difficult to cover up. And I think most of my learning happened during the classes itself. So that's my take.
Let me ask this one question to all of you in this context only. A lot of us, especially in preparing for CAT or any of these exams, mocks, everyone feels, मैंने अभी तक syllabus खत्म नहीं की और mocks क्यों लूं अभी? But many realize that this is one of the biggest mistake I come across, the delaying of taking mocks. Anybody would like to add this? Because I found this a very big mistake most of us do. Yeah.
I was coming to this point only that when you write mocks, the important part in writing mocks is the analysis of the mocks. Most people, what we do is that we write mocks and then we move on. If you write a 2-hour mock, it is very important to analyze it for at least 4 hours. Which it is a must. It would take that much time if you analyze it thoroughly. So analysis of the mocks is a must. And as sir has already added, do not delay your first mock. You write that first mock, you realize what are your weaknesses, what are your weak points, and then start working on that. One thing that you shouldn't do is that you should, if you get a great score, you shouldn't feel like that I am the god of this world, Brahmasmi, I will be a cat. And even if you score bad, you shouldn't think like that. It's not something which I can do. Everyone has his day. And all we need to do is that if we are consistent enough, I think everybody can score a 98 plus score.
Okay, just a second. Mocks कितने किए थे तुमने आकाश? Around 50 mocks.
50 to 55.
So I gave around 30 mocks for
30
CAT
mocks.
and 10 to 20 more for the other.
Okay, so 30 plus 15, roughly 45.
So roughly 25 for CAT and 5 to 6 for others.
Roughly 30 mocks. Yeah.
I think roughly 45, 50 in that range.
Mocks number.
So 35 to 40 for CAT, and then I think 10 for the test.
Okay, say 45 or yeah.
Around 35 to 40 for CAT and 10 additional.
Yeah.
So I give around 20 mocks, but I just covered all the sectional mocks. Like in our app, we have a sectional thing, 15 minutes, 20-minute test. I think that helps a lot in like building our confidence. So I just used to complete that.
Okay. So in your case, since you started in September, you took 20 mocks in 13 weeks. At least one mock per week. And again, if you look at each one of them, on an average, I'll say they're talking about 40 mocks across. And if you're taking 6 months, 40 mocks, you're talking about 6 mocks a month on an average, or 7 mocks. And that is, I think, a critical thing which you need to remember. पढ़ाई तो सब कर देंगे, उसको implement कर पाओगे कि नहीं, पेपर में कहानी वहीं पे आती है. And that is what we are talking about. Analysis of paper खाली वही है. What is it I did right? What are the mistakes I committed? Which question I should or should not have attempted? Which question I could have done with choices? Which passage I goofed up completely with DI set I should not have looked? All those things you learn only when you analyze the paper, and obviously you can analyze only after you have taken the paper. So I think that's critical. Whatever, whenever you prepare, please remember a minimum number of mocks. If you look at this as a sample size is 20, the maximum is about 60. So we are talking about on an average 35 to 40 mocks is what you should definitely look at. Okay, the original question, one thing should or should not do.
So one thing that you should do, I feel, is when you say analyzing the mock, I think just go back to the exam that you wrote. Look at also not just the questions that you did not get correct, but also the ones that you did get correct. Go through those, probably redo the paper if that's something that helps. If that's an area, for example, that's very weak, or especially for LRDI, if that's a set that really challenged you, try to do it again without looking at the solution once, because sometimes in that timed environment, you do not get the right feel of how much do you know what your ability is. And if you can do it again, then you get this idea that you need to work on the strategy and the nervousness rather than the knowledge. So redoing the paper will really help. And one area that, or one thing that you should not do is, like Rohit mentioned, do not get attached to the mocks. Even if they go well, that's great, and be happy about it, but do not be overconfident. If they don't go well, do not be discouraged, because ultimately you have to look at them very, very objectively. They're there for your practice, and that's about it, because it's only preparing you for that one day. That's all. So do not get attached to the results of these mocks.
So my idea would be something to do would be to focus on all these sections. So what I would say is that if you feel that you are extremely good at maths and LRDI, so just don't only focus on that. You need to focus on all these sections, because ultimately for the interviews, there will be sectional cutoffs as well. So it's really important to focus on all these sections. And again, something you should not do will be again related to this only, that in case if you feel that you have maths is your brilliant part, you keep on working on your weakness only, and you start to, forget things about your strength. So it's very important to focus on all your sections. And as I mentioned, there will be section cutoffs as well. Yeah.
So one thing we should do, I will actually add to some panel members' points. In addition to analyzing the mocks, I feel you should sit down with the bookmark questions every week. So I personally face this issue. My marks weren't improving in quants. So I in fact spoken to GP sir only, and he told me to bookmark questions and give 1 day of the week to going through all those questions in order to understand the pattern. So that is one thing I would urge everybody to do. Go through all the bookmark questions once a week for all mocks you've given, even if it's say 15 to 20 mocks. And one thing you shouldn't do, I feel, is actually get stuck to a section during the mock as well. So I personally face this issue that if my BARC didn't go well, I used to cry over it while I was attempting the DILR section as well. So I feel that shouldn't be done, because what's gone is gone. You should focus on DILR and quants next. So that's my advice.
So what I think that what we have to do, focus on our CAT preparation, is that start giving the mock. Never wait for the right time. Most of us wait for the right time. I'll cover this, then I'll start. So once you start giving mock, then start analyzing it. And then bookmark it. Bookmark the question. Not even the mock. Even sometimes you solve your booklet, you'll find some questions which are tough. Just circle it or note down. Because when you'll be doing the revision, you are not required to solve all the questions. Just go through all that questions which are not able to do. First thing is that. And second thing which I developed is that CAT exam have all the 3 sections. So never start your preparation like that. I'll focus only on VRC, and after 1 month I'll start with LRDI. Then after 1 month with quant. Do all the 3 sections every day, at least for 1 hour, so that the same thing will develop inside you. When you sit for the paper, your mind will develop like that. Okay, VRC, then quant, and then LRDI, like this. So you need to prepare all the 3 sections and study it every day. So what I have developed during my preparation.
How to? Actually, a बहुत common सवाल है. When I'm going through the sheets, how to improve in verbal ability? How many of you are from Hindi medium? कोई भी नहीं है. अंग्रेजी किसी को नहीं आती? Despite studying English for how many years, I don't know. चलो यार बताओ. सब लगता है बहुत कॉन्फिडेंटली गलत अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं. तो बताओ अंग्रेजी कैसे सुधारें? Anyone?
So I actually started out by reading the editorials in Hindu. So which is where I actually started reading newspapers. Apart from that, I actually enrolled in the VARC 1000 course. So I continuously gave topic tests every single day. That probably helped me a lot, because video solution explaining where I went wrong, why should I eliminate options, that helped me a lot. So I would say reading A1 essays, editorials, and giving topic tests continuously.
Anyone who was inherently weak in English, verbally? You were.
Yeah. So although it was an area that I was comfortable in, but what really helps as well, even if it's an area that you are good at or comfortable at. It's still, you still have to prepare very well for that. Because this is one section where you never know what might happen. And I think what really helps is once, if you have written any mock or any sectional exam for VARC, just go through the questions that you didn't do right on and try to understand. There's always going to be an explanation for that. That would be provided. For example, Career Launcher had video solutions or even text solutions as well. So try to do it again once and then just see the solution, that where is it that your interpretation of the question, your interpretation of the passage was wrong, and what is it that the exam interpreted it as like. Try to make sense of it, try to figure out where that gap lies, where that difference lies in your understanding. And I think that's going to be very, very helpful. And slowly, steadily, couple it with a lot of reading, you're going to develop a sense of what the exam is really asking you in a lot of these questions.
So I'd like to add something to this. A lot of people consider VRC section to be linked to English, but it's in fact very much logical. And even though I never really had an issue with the section as such, I was able to figure out that logic and decode everything with the help of Jijo sir's videos. So I think it will be very useful if everyone can go through those, because it will make you see VRC in a different light, completely different light. So that's just my suggestion.
And for those of you who don't think, some of you, I'm sorry, many of you know Jijo, but just to put it on record, Jijo is an engineer. So बहुत लोग होता है ना, इंजीनियर को अंग्रेजी नहीं आती, उसे आती है. Rather he treats English like logic, and which is what she's exactly saying. उसको logic की तरह लो, English is not going to problem because it is verbal reasoning more than anything else. I think we have covered mocks, so let's go on to the next one. Anyone from arts background? Anyone of you? How many engineers? 2. You are from army. What you are from fashion? Commerce. You are sorry from fashion. Acha. Science. Okay. So how to approach CAD? Okay, let me ask you slightly different question. Was your approach any different as compared to your friends who are from different backgrounds? No. Everyone. सबने वही किया है.
I would say that coming from an engineering background, maths is something that it comes naturally to us, I would say. But in case if you feel that maths is strong for us, or maybe you can work in VRC section, and that is section that I'm not giving a judgment, but basically it might be weak for engineers. So I guess everyone is in the same boat, and some have advantage in some sections, some have advantage in the other section. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. How should you decide which stream field to opt for if you don't know about your interest? This is a question. I'll answer that on behalf of everyone. Decide this once you get into MBA. बहुत जल्दी है. Learn about areas. Otherwise, as I asked many people, how many engineers out here? Yeah, which branch and why? What branch? Why? गलत सवाल है ना. MBA में स्पेशलाइजेशन उस तरह से नहीं चूज करनी है. इसलिए फर्स्ट ईयर पढ़ लो, उसके बाद डिसाइड करना. ठीक है? नहीं तो हम सब इसलिए जो ब्रांच मिलती है, जो रैंक आती है, उससे ब्रांच ले लेते हैं. हमें उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है क्या उसके अंदर है, तो गलती दोबारा नहीं करनी. Okay. Any one of you think you had a poor profile? People are saying, is it better option to go for IIM with a poor profile? हाँ. नहीं इधर भी कोई नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम ये है. हाँ, but this question comes very often, and let me try to address this question. The reason why many people think कि poor profile है तो नीचे वाले आय पे चले जाता हूँ, वहां मैं टॉप कर जाऊंगा. फिर एक काम करो, तुम सबसे नीचे वाले कॉलेज में चले जाओ. वहां you will be superlative performer. That didn't work. The moment you go down the ladder, the level of competition, the quality of management, the quality of education, the quality of organization, the quality of opportunities changes. And secondly, just as most people discover after they get into MBA, they are not going to give you jobs or evaluate you based on your background or your profile. Your career will be dependent on what you do in these 2 years and beyond. Okay, so profile ki chinta abhi mat karna. We'll go on to the next one. I think we have a variety. Any background, we have a fashion technology, we are engineer, we have a defense personnel, we have a BSc science, we have a BBA. I hope they सामने देख के clear हो जाता है. And I saw a couple of questions. Can I do MBA after law? Yeah, my niece is doing MBA from IIM Lucknow. She's a 5-year law graduate from IIM from GLC Mumbai. She's right now in IIM Lucknow. So law के बाद भी कहते हैं. This year I had 2 students from law background. Both of them have converted their calls. Okay? So not an issue at all. Yeah, ये तुम लोग को बताना होगा. Interview should be given honest or a smart answer. Any one of you?
I think in interviews you should give honest answers. I'll give you an example why. So I am a big fan of football. I follow Real Madrid, and in the Ahmedabad interview, I told them I am a big fan of Real Madrid. So they asked me about a free kick which Roberto Carlos scored in 1999, and they asked me that the ball swerved so much it is known as a banana kick. So you tell us what was the mechanism behind it. So if you are not really a football fan, I don't think you could have answered this question. So I think you should be honest with your answer. Maybe we can, sometimes try things like when they ask, tell me about yourself. So I always leave this hook that I am a big fan of Real Madrid. So if they do decide to catch that hook, then the interview goes about football, and then I do great in that interview. So you should be smart with your answers, but be honest as well.
Okay, let me ask another question. In your interviews, did you have to say मेरे को नहीं आता, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer?
Yes, sir.
So ignorance was not a problem. Okay. So I hope I'm just extending that question. Smart की जरूरत नहीं है, honest हो और नहीं आता तो बता दो नहीं आता is what the 7 of them are saying. हाँ ये यार ये क्या है? MBA क्यों करा? कहना क्या बोला तुम लोगों ने इंटरव्यू? In your case, since you have probably the most unlikely profile for an MBA candidate.
So I told that I have already done one PhD in military studies and defense management, and what we were doing in army was generally with defense we also do people management. We do a lot of, we have to look after our men and everything. So that was the reason I thought I have done this all, and same thing I'll be doing, but it is different from civil, so I have to do a course for it. So that's the reason I want to do it.
Yeah. Why MBA?
So I was pretty honest in my answer. I was very clear that during my entire journey, my exposure with people has been very limited. I was asked to study a syllabus, come and give exams. So I wanted to understand about people management along with finance. Additionally, I also spoke about how I aspire to be in the top management of an organization in the future, and an MBA will allow me to explore all domains of management in a very streamlined and structured manner. So that's what I said.
बस इतना ही.
हाँ सर,
मेरे
उसमें
को पढ़ना है, सीखना है, उसके बाद करियर बनाना है.
हाँ उसने भी रोक
हो गया.
So my answer was that I have a work ex, and I feel that I have the capability to do a lot more. So that is where MBA comes in. MBA is going to polish me, polish my personality, and basically enhance my skills. So that is the answer that I gave. That I feel I have the capability to do a lot more, and just I need to enhance and improve my skills.
Yeah.
So for me, my background is in bachelor's in management. So my education background actually coincides with a lot with MBA. And also I spoke about how, given my work experience that I have, I've been able to develop a lot of the interests and a lot of skills as well that would be a good fit with this kind of a program. And how, given the experience, an MBA will help me get the better knowledge, get better understanding and better holistic development for helping me grow up. So in the organizational hierarchy. So I think for me, that was the answer.
So while I was working at my job, I realized that I have a lot more potential. I can do a lot more. And I fondly used to remember my time when I was the co-founder of the student mentorship program at IIM. And I always thought that mentorship is something which I can work with. And I want to start a company maybe in the mentorship business. So that is where the MBA comes along.
So for me, because I had calls from a lot of diverse kind of courses, for example, MBA in business analytics, the general MBA and MBA in HRM, why MBA for me was, customized to each of these courses. And I think that's it if you guys can also take. So I had tried to include keywords from the institute's vision and mission into my YMBA. And mostly I've woven my YMBA around how I'm passionate for sustainability, how I've written some research papers on it, and how sustainability plays a huge role in fashion, and how my management education can cover the learning gaps that I have and enable me to become a leader who is actually ethical and considers sustainability as such. So I think it's very important that you have a story customized to every course that you get in and customized to every college that you're appearing for.
So this is the question which typically you can say trouble me a lot. So I frame it as like, so being as an analyst, I was doing more like a task driven work. Basically, my manager was doing some sort of task to me and I was doing the same for him. And at the end of the day, it felt like I am doing a job for my manager, not for the company. So I would like to do the job directly for my company and do something which is more impactful for my company. So that's why, and being from a science background, I do not have the enough knowledge for the management or the business. So MBA will definitely help me to gain that knowledge, and also the kind of experience that I will gain definitely help me to grow in more in my, you can say, in my career. So that's why I wanted to.
So if I summarize, effectively it is how MBA is going to help you do well in your career.
Yeah.
एक चीज और मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, last two questions from my side. One of the common questions which is coming out is, I don't have extracurricular activities. I don't have any extracurricular activities, or I have very poor or limited. Any one of you who falls in the same boat?
So basically, I do not have any sort of POR in my college or at my school time. So basically, what I did, I tried to have my interview based on my job profile or on my academics. So that's how I drive my interviews towards. So it's up to you how you are perceiving your interviews. So if you don't have any POR, don't worry about it, because if you don't have, you don't have. You can't do anything about it. Okay, so just be confident enough. So that's it. That's the mantra.
एक जो आखिरी सवाल ले लेते हैं, and that's the kind of question which many people are asking: how to keep yourself motivated during this stupid process? क्योंकि ये 6-8 महीने, I'm sure all of them will have a roller coaster ride, and all of you have all gone through that. And I think you are the ones who should be talking about it.
It is just think what will happen after the CAT result. That will motivate you. So if you want to go in some good college, do something good in life, you have to study. There's no option for it. There's no any shortcut for it. So you need to keep yourself motivated. You just need to believe in the process. Okay, I'm learning day by day. I'll grow. Just keep motivating yourself, and you will do it.
Anybody else would like to add?
I think just keep in mind why you are going on this journey. What do you wish to achieve from this journey? That will keep you motivated. Talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to your mentors. They will help you a lot in keeping you motivated. I think that's it.
I would say that be around people that will motivate you. Basically, you need to have a circle in which there are people who are actually pushing you forward rather than bringing you back. So I think you need to have a circle in which there are people who support you.
Yeah, अच्छे दोस्तों से दूर हो. Yeah, ठीक है.
Okay, I'll also add to the last one before I wind up. See, if you have a destination clear, if you have clarity about where you want to head and where you want to be, then you will do everything possible to reach that. अगर आपको कहे कि यार यहाँ से लखनऊ 8 घंटे में जाना है, बोले 12 घंटे से कम तो जाऊंगा. हाँ, but if you challenge yourself, perhaps you will find a way, you find a means to reach Lucknow in 8 hours. It is quite possible you take that medium, but रास्ते में कहीं पंचर हो जाए तो ये नहीं, इंतजार नहीं करोगे. अगर 8 घंटे में पहुंचना है, तो you'll find another means, another way of piggybacking on somebody else to reach that. Am I making sense? If you have the purpose, If you have a clarity that I have to be there, dear friends, you will find ways and means to reach there. कहानियां तो अपने आप को बहुत सुनाते हैं, अगर आपको जाना ही है तो शुरू हो जाए. Okay, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you all here this evening. A big round of yeah. All of us are here and you all can interact with them. They are going to be around and tea and snacks are laid outside and all of us are going to be there. And there are many more here. Shivku, there are another a dozen. IIM grads, there are many more, all IIM grads, you can stand. There are many more IIM grads around. Kindly go around when you're having chai. You can catch hold of people and ask questions. But I hope you got the gist of all questions answered here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure. You're all here for the next part of the conference. इसके बारे में बहुत अगला मतलब आगे क्या करना है उसका पार्ट 2.